Crazy Dee's. This is the Juneteenth celebration. Now I knew, like I told some of you, I probably didn't tell all you, I knew this was going to be a stretch because a lot of people don't know what Juneteenth is. And for the people who know what it is, a lot of people take it as it's a bunch of angry Negroes that's still talking about slavery and when is slavery's been over now and how come you're still talking about it. So I knew that it would be a stretch because most people don't know. So I'm going to run it down to you real quick so you understand what Juneteenth is. And of course I'd like to thank everybody who came out today. So Juneteenth deals with the celebration. The last slaves in America, African American slaves, were in Texas. And they didn't get free until 1865, right? President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. But because Texas was a Confederate stronghold, they didn't get the message. They didn't get the memo. Okay? So it took the Union Army going into Galveston, Texas, and spreading the word out and saying that, you know, these were the last slaves and that you were free. And they're the ones who created the celebration, and it falls on June 19th every year. So let's break this down a little bit further. From 1865 to 1964, when they signed the Civil Rights Act, and then the following year they signed the Voting Rights Act. That's 100 years. From 1865, from when they said that African Americans were free, it was 100 years of struggle to get to 1965 to say that you had the right to be a citizen in 64 and then the right to vote in 65. Now check this out. In 1866, they had signed a civil rights bill, right? But it didn't have law enforcement included in it. So even though they said that we had the rights to do what we wanted to do, they didn't have law enforcement in it. So it took until 1968 for President Johnson to do a whole nother Civil Rights Act, which is called the Fair Housing Act, which allowed us to be able to live where we want to live. 1965, they signed the Voting Rights Act. I was born in 1971. That's just 6 years after we got the right to vote. I'm born in 1971, okay? That's just 6 years. Barack Obama is 48. At this time, from 1965 to 2008, when Obama was elected, that's only 43 years. Obama is 48 years old. He's lived those 43 years. This is not that long ago. I think what was happening in between those 143 years. 100 of the years, Jim Crow, the nadir, where they took, well, pretty much, you weren't even recognized as a human being still. You know, and we were fighting all that time to be able to do this right here. And so people ask, how come we're still talking about slavery and we're still talking about stuff that happened in the past? And I'll answer it like this. Once we get to 150 years where discrimination is eliminated, where reparations are paid to education so that we can have our children educated properly with the right books, the true stories are told. When we open up the history books, we learn that we made the cotton gin, we made the ironing board, the turntable apparatus needle. Black people made that, the gas mask, the traffic light. You know what I'm saying? When people open... Peanut butter. That's right, that's right. You know what I'm saying? The almanac. When people open up the history books and really see that we're there, then the whole situation has changed, because Obama is just the beginning. Okay, we got an African American president, but now the history books have to be changed. So that's where the reparations, in my opinion, need to go. Switch these history books up, tell the truth, tell them about our accomplishments. I mean, we turn on the TV every day, right? And we see people who have died in the war. Now everybody knows that we've been dying first in American war since the Revolutionary War with Crispus Attucks. He was the first one to go. How did everybody get shot first? But we never see ourselves on TV as far as the people who have sacrificed for this country. You may see a name, but when something happens in Ashtabula or something, you see that whole funeral. You see the person's name, you see their pictures. And I know that African Americans are dying over there in the war. So that's part of it, making the history true. Then we get another 150 years away from the human rights situation, and maybe we'll stop talking about it. That'll be 300 years plus 143 years. That'll be 443 years, and we can say that's pretty much as long as slavery was around, because slavery started in 1554, but didn't get to the Americas, the British Americas, until 1619. However, all our people went Puerto Rico, South America, then it came into North America. So from 1554 to 1965, that's 411 years. That's 411 as information. 411 years. So when we get 150 years away with the reparations, then another 150 years away with the human rights situation being taken care of, then we'll probably stop talking about it as much. But right now it's got to still be talked about, because what do the Jewish people say? They say never again. The Holocaust, never again. They keep talking about it because they know that long as you are known about, long as you keep on talking, long as you keep on struggling, Hitler can never happen again. Slavery can never happen again to that group of people. And as you keep on fighting, you fight for other people because they're going on with it too, just like what's happening in Iran right now. Women getting beat just like the women's suffrage. The men are getting beat just like we were in slavery. So it's the same thing, but you keep on fighting and you move forward. So that's my spiel. That's why we're here. And most people say, again, that it's an angry Negro thing because most people talk about slavery. This white man did this, white man did that. No, we look at it from a historical standpoint, why we have to keep talking about it, why we have to keep on struggling, why we have to make sure that Darfur is stopped, why Iran is stopped, and any other injustice to humanity around the world is stopped, because we went through it in one of the most hardest ways ever, being stripped from a whole another continent and brought over to a whole nother continent, not to know how to read and write, but yet we learned to read and write. We made all these contributions to America, built America, and the one thing why I do this all the time, make sure we put it up on the net, is because the biggest contribution that we have done now, going from the 20th century when Reagan stopped music in the schools, is hip-hop music, because the voice that you put across on the hip-hop music, what you talk about, and what's going on in your neighborhood, someone over in Africa or Australia, they're saying, I'm going through the same thing. So the biggest contribution that black people have made today, because we got so much more history that even that I haven't learned yet. But the biggest contribution is hip-hop music. That's why we do it, because your voice has to be heard. You have to be seen, and they're not even writing hip-hop into the history books. They're not even writing hip-hop, and that's why we make sure that we chronicle our history, especially Cleveland history, because that's a whole nother half-hour topic right there. But we make sure we chronicle our hip-hop here in the city, and that's why we do it. So that's what the Juneteenth celebration is about. So we're getting ready to kick off with George, and y'all can feel like clapping if you like it.
Testicles 1 2, testicles 1 2. That's how I get down. King George used to be from the boogie down, now I'm from the land. Want to put it down. I know y'all enjoyed the playoffs. Watching the Lakers whoop on the Magic. Kobe running that foot up that ass. Yeah, man. That was like real good to see, man. Only thing that messed me up is how the reporters run out on the court right after the game. Soon as the buzzer go off.